and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting's called to order. All are present. Got 3 service recognitions. I don't think anybody on here. Connie Rudo for 10 years, and Pulaski for 5, and Randy Caswell for 5. Appreciate all their services, and we'll make sure they get those. All right, on to item number 1.
Go ahead. I make a motion to approve the minutes of October 25th.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold. Approve the minutes of the 25th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item number 2.
Make a motion to recess the Commissioners' meeting and open the salary board at 9:01.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to recess Commissioners open salary board. All in favor? Aye. So carried. Salary board. Salary board. Okay. Present. Item number 1.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 11th salary board meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve the October 11th salary board minutes. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 2.
I make a motion by, on behalf of President Judge Jason J. Lake to eliminate the position of non-union full-time judicial law clerk effective at the end of business November 22nd, 2017, per his recommendation.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by the Court Administrator, Kathy Hawley, seconded by Commissioner Warren, to eliminate the position as stated in item 2. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item 3.
Motion by President Judge Jason J. Lake to create a permanent non-union full-time position of judicial law clerk / assistant to the court administrator, effective November 27th, at a salary of $55,000 a year, no annual pay increase for January 2018, minimum of 40 hours per week with a 6-month probationary period, benefits according to the government mandated requirements and county personnel policy, per the recommendation of the judge.
I'll second that.
Motion by Court Administrator Kathy Hawley, seconded by Commissioner Warren, to create the permanent non-union full-time position judicial law clerk / assistant courts. Item number 3. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item number 4.
I make a motion to ratify the creation of a temporary non-union full-time position of acting First Deputy Prothonotary Clerk of Courts effective November 7th through January 2nd, 2018, at a salary of $34,900 a year, minimum 40 hours per week, benefits according to the government mandated requirements and county policy manual.
I'll second that.
Motion by Chris Jones, seconded by Commissioner Warren, to ratify the creation of a temporary non-union full-time position of acting First Deputy Prothonotary Clerk of Courts. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Any public comment to the salary board? Hearing none, item 6.
Make a motion to close the salary board.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Arnold, second by Commissioner Warren, to close the salary board. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Those that don't want to stay may leave.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, back to item number 3. We are reconvened at 9:04. Okay, item number 4.
Make a motion to approve item number 4 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 4 on the agenda, approve the cash disbursement of electronic payments. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item 5.
Make a motion to approve item number 5 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
I guess I'm looking at the RS tab and Oliver. I'm looking for the dates. (11/7 to 11/9). October to amend the motion to include the dates.
Okay. You okay with that amendment?
I am. I'll second that.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
It is not on that, but we have no second page of our agenda.
Well, how about that?
We are missing motions 6 through 12. So,
We will get those as we finish number 5.
and there's also like the, the meeting minutes are incomplete as well from the October 25th. Your backsides didn't copy. Your backsides didn't copy.
It was a late night last night at election night. It was a very late night.
All right, any other questions on item 5?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, I guess while we're waiting, we'll jump in and do public comment while we're waiting. No public comment?
How do we know? We don't have 6
I
through
don't know
12.
if this is something the commissioners want to speak on, and if you don't, that's fine, but I thought I saw in the news this morning that the referendum on the ballot to change the way property taxes are collected was a yes vote. I've read it, and I don't understand it completely, but it looks like it's an attempt to take away some of the control of collecting school taxes from the local school districts and turning that responsibility over to Harrisburg. And the way they would do that would be to raise other taxes, such as the sales tax, the income tax, and so on and so forth. And then they would take the money and send it out to the different school districts.
I think you explained it very well.
I have, I mean, I don't like paying
Well,
taxes
the
for the
problem with
schools,
this
but
is-
it seems like it's taking it away from the local people and giving it back down to Harrisburg.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, the problem is whenever you put something like that on a ballot to vote on, the bad part about it is you only get one side of the equation. Well, here, we're gonna give you a mechanism to eliminate the taxes, but we're not gonna tell you how we're gonna create the taxes to make up for it. And that's the problem. If you had the whole plan to look at that said, this is how we're gonna do everything, then we're gonna eliminate school taxes, well, we're gonna do this, 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 and this, well, now you've got something you can make a decision on. But when you only have one side of the equation that says, we're gonna give you the power to eliminate the local taxes, well, that's great in theory. Hey, we can give it all the taxes. Well, then where's the revenue gonna come from? Well, once you pass that and say, that's good, we're good with that, now you've just given them a green light to do whatever they want to create the revenue stream. So I can't wait to see what wonderful things Harrisburg's gonna come up with on
Well,
their revenue
it
stream.
seems that the rural counties traditionally, though, if this goes back to Harrisburg,
You know what's gonna happen?
it's like with the roads. I mean, I
Absolutely.
know I was in North Carolina a few weeks ago. I paid $1.99 for a gallon of gas. Now, I know we're paying, I think, what is it, 30 cents extra now?
Yep.
They tacked on to help
Yep.
with the road problems. Is it coming to Susquehanna County? I don't,
No. And basically, how all the formulas work in the state of Pennsylvania, it's all based on population. So the heavier populated areas get all the funding, and the lesser populated areas don't get any funding. So, we'll get back to public comment in a minute, but thanks for bringing that up. I think that's very important. People are gonna be quite shocked as to what they agreed to. All right, item number 6.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 6 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Everybody's got a copy now?
Yep. I apologize to you doing this every time.
All right, item 6, we've got a motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to acknowledge transfer of Jessica Shamanti from Susquehanna from the full-time position of deputy sheriff to the open full-time position of forensic case coordinator, deputy coroner. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number 7.
Make a motion to approve item number 7 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 7 on the agenda, ratifying and acknowledge resignation of Angel Conley as the full-time position second deputy. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 8.
Make a motion to approve item number 8 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item J8 on the agenda, ratifying now termination of Jordan Harvey from the full-time position of civil criminal clerk from the sheriff's office. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 9.
Make a motion to approve item number 9 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 9 on the agenda, ratifying and acknowledge the termination of Amanda Lannon from the full-time position of First Deputy Pathonetary Clerk of Courts. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Make a motion to approve item number 10 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to acknowledge the transfer of Keisha Carmen Montrose to the temporary non-union full-time position of acting First Deputy Pathonetary Clerk of Courts. One thing that's noted in here at the end of this period will be transferred back to the open second deputy position. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 11.
Make a motion to approve item number 11 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 11 on the agenda, acknowledge with regret the resignation of Sean Bothwell from the full-time non-union position. That's not it. That's not correct. Where's the letter from the judge? Folder.
No, it's missing.
Okay, it's not a resignation. The position's being eliminated by the judge, and his employment's being terminated. That's what that needs to be changed to. Not a resignation.
For 11.
For 11.
So I'll rescind my motion.
Mhm.
I'll rescind motion 11 and do a new one.
Right, to acknowledge with regret the termination of...
The elimination of the position.
Elimination.
Due to the elimination of the position.
Right, due to the termination of Sean Bothwell, due to the elimination of the position.
Alright, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Questions or comments? And the reason for that is we're moving in a different direction, the courts are moving in a different direction. If I do not want to, because Sean has been a great employee for the county and doing the work for us, I don't want to mess up his unemployment by putting he resigned his position. So this way he will still be eligible for his unemployment. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Item 12.
Make a motion to approve item number 12 with the addition of, with no annual pay increase in January 2018.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve and acknowledge the hiring of Mary Jo Geist Owens of Springville to the open full-time position of judicial law clerk assistant effective November 27th. Salary $55,000 a year. There'll be no annual increase for January 2018. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
12 is done. Here on to 13.
Make a motion to approve item number 13 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 13 on the agenda. Yes.
Older new
What?
elevator. The older new elevator.
That's the new one.
Thought so.
To enter a service agreement with Otis Elevator Company, Allentown, PA, for the new elevator, $350 per month. Questions or comments? Additional.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
I thought maybe you had something on 12 that I missed, that's why I stopped.
No, no, sorry.
Okay, item 14.
Make a motion to approve item number 14 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to approve item 14 on the agenda, to approve proclamation 2017-16, designating November 15th as America Recycles Day. Seminary class, positions. I don't have it. Do you know where that proclamation is? Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 15.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve item number 15 on the agenda.
Okay, I'll second it. Motion by Commissioner Arnold, second by Commissioner Hall to approve item 15 on the agenda to reappoint the following to the Susquehanna County Conservation Board of Directors: and Brian Severpool of Springville, Curtis Epler of Halsted, and Commissioner Warren as the Commissioner Director. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
I'll
Okay.
abstain.
Okay. Any more public comment? We can go back to the tax issue and talk a little bit more about that. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The problem is the message is not clear to the public as to what it meant. That's always the problem with those referendums on the ballot. Remember the one with the judges here, the last time? That was a disaster.
You can't understand them.
You can't understand them, and half the language they put out to try to explain it is worse than the language they've got on the ballot. So it almost looks like there's an intentional way of them trying to make it so ambiguous that you can't understand it, and that people are just gonna see, oh, I'm gonna get a tax break, so I'm gonna agree to it, so.
Yeah, but a lot of the school taxes now are raised locally,
Yep,
and the decision on the taxes is made in a big part by the local elected school board members, who are
Right.
the people who live in our community.
right,
And we have the power, if it gets out of hand and they're raising them too much, or we feel the money's not being spent correctly,
right,
to vote those school board members out.
right.
If the control goes down to Harrisburg, you're losing the local, you're centralizing the decisions, which I feel has always not been good for Susquehanna County, because I think we're just up there and
Right.
we get.
Well, it kind of, does it really go against the concept of a commonwealth, where the concept of a commonwealth is that the lowest level form of government is the highest form of government, where your school board would have the authority, and now you're going to take that authority away from the school board and move it to the state. You kind of really go away from the whole concept of a commonwealth. You know, listen, I agree with everybody. You know, listen, none of us want to pay property taxes. We'd love to be able to say we don't want to pay property taxes. But everything has to get paid for at some point. But we know that rural counties in Pennsylvania will never get a fair shake out of Harrisburg when it comes to those programs, because it has always gone. I can remember when Ed Randell went in the first year, and the first thing out of the chute he did was send an extra $10 million to Philadelphia schools. Nobody else got it, but they got it. And it continues and continues and continues. And their answer to this is, well, you know, these inner city schools are so bad, we need to put all this money into them. Well, you know, I understand that, but, you know, they didn't get that bad just because of the money. When you're paying people in Philadelphia to teach $100-some thousand a year to be a teacher, that's a problem, you know? And when you're paying administrators, you know, 6-digit incomes all the time, that's a problem. I mean, a lot of the, you know, some of these school directors, or not school directors, school administrators in the big cities make more money than some of the CEOs that I know. I mean, it's crazy. So the system's broke, and unfortunately, this Band-Aid they're gonna try and use is gonna probably make it worse, not better. Because where are they gonna get the revenue from? The revenue they're gonna get, how can they get the revenue? The only place they can get the revenue is either raise the income tax, create a new tax. Now, stop and think of what they just did to the fireworks companies or dealers that are in our area right now. They just passed a tax on that of, what is it, 15 or 20% that they have to pay additional tax on every sale for this new tax that they created in Harrisburg. I don't know the exact amount, and you guys, the reporters, can try and look that up, but, so now these local businesses that were doing good and employed people and were making all kinds of sales and doing revenue, now are getting hit with this huge tax. Now, what kind of effects is that gonna have on them? Are people still gonna buy? Because they can't afford to pay it themselves, so they're gonna pass it on to the consumer, which is you and I. But here's what they did. The law now says, but by the way, now you can go buy the fireworks in Pennsylvania now. So, again, it's just, you know, it created that tax, and that's gonna have that huge impact. You know, the only other places they can get the state income tax, they have played with this sales tax thing for years, have a lot of concerns there. They were talking about, you know, we're gonna increase the sales tax, but then we're gonna broaden it. We're gonna tax everything now.
Clothes and food.
Well,
and
so
everything.
who is getting hit the hardest with that? The seniors and the young people with kids and diapers and everything else.
Yeah, but I think a lot of seniors, and I guess I'm one of them now, my kids have all gone through Elk Lake. I don't have any kids in school anymore, so, but if you try to do the math in your head and you say, okay, well, I'm not gonna have to pay the Elk Lake school taxes, well, wait a minute, they're gonna raise sales tax? Well, I buy things every day.
Yep.
They're gonna raise income tax, they're gonna raise all these
Yep.
other tax, clothes now, food, so I figure, wait a minute, this isn't, I don't know if this is even gonna save me any money.
Well, here's the other kicker. You're retired probably, right?
Yeah, I am.
So you're probably drawing a pension, right?
Yes,
Right now, it's not taxable in Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Well, what happens if they decide their fix is gonna be, okay, we're gonna start making you pay tax on your retirement now? There's nothing to stop them from doing that. You know, we've got a big revenue shortfall, so, you know, we're gonna get it any way we can, and we've got all these avenues. You know, that's what scares me when people are so eager to jump on something and say, oh, that's a great idea, let's do it. Oh, wait a minute, let's look down the road 5 or 10 years. How's that idea gonna affect us in 5 or 10 years? Well, when you give away and say you don't have to pay property taxes anymore, well, you gotta pay it someplace. I mean, the state doesn't print money in the basement and just hand it out. Only the federal government does that, so. So, yeah, it's gonna be a huge problem. You know, and I don't know what's gonna happen in the state of Pennsylvania. You know, you look at the people we have in Harrisburg, and am I competent that those people are competent enough to figure this out? Absolutely not. Hell, they can't even get a budget done on time. And every time they try to do a budget, they come up with all these harebrained ideas. Oh, well, all these funds have extra money in it. Let's take all that money out of all these funds. Oh, gee, we found out that all that money's already encumbered because the state's on a fiscal calendar and everybody else is on a yearly calendar. So that money's already encumbered. Oh, we can't steal that money now. If they had taken all that money, you can't even imagine the fallout we would have had in this state from that. But they were willing to do that. You know, they jumped right on that. Hey, let's just go do this.
Well, I have a problem in my own township because of the amount of money in the impact fee fund right now, and it's sitting there, and they call it a rainy day fund, so it's just like, and I said, geez, guys, Harrisburg needs money. And they said, yeah, but they can't touch that. If they come after
Really?
that, yeah,
Really?
we'll have our solicitor say, you can't take that money back.
Yeah,
And I'm
right.
like, our little Dimmitt Township solicitor is gonna go up against Harrisburg and say, no, you can't take,
Yep.
they gave you the money, what's to stop them from passing a law to take it
There has
back?
already been a push on this. There's already been a push by the senators and the representatives from Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Pittsburgh that have saying, all this money's sitting up north, they're not spending it, we should take it all back to Harrisburg. There's already a push on it. I have told everybody from day one, don't use your Act 13 money for operational, and don't let it sit around. You keep putting it in a bank account, you're gonna give them the excuse to come take it away from you. And if you don't wanna give it to them, that's fine. You know how they're gonna get it? All right, now we're shutting you off, you're not gonna get any money from the state. You got $10 million in, well, that'll take care of your next 10 years of liquid fuels money, you're not getting anything. Right, Jack?
That's right.
So, you know, the smartest thing you can do with that money is to invest it into your infrastructure and take care of your people so that you don't have to borrow money for the next 30 to 40 years. Just like we've done here. We've invested in the infrastructure of this facility. These facilities will be in a position in the next 2 to 4 years where they will be all top of the line, everything's been renovated, everything's up to speed, where nothing major will have to be done for 50 years. Now that saves the taxpayers money, because if not, if we didn't do that, at some point, well, let's look at it different. Let's say 3 different commissioners come in here and said, oh, we're sitting on $60 million impact from it. Let's just cut taxes, do away, give everybody all free tax break. Okay, so you do that for 5 years. Well, then at the end of 5 years, okay, now everybody's got to pay taxes again. Oh, by the way, the building across the street just fell down because it's 200 years old. We got to build a new building. Oh, now we got to go borrow money and raise taxes to pay for the money we're going to borrow, and people are going to have to pay higher taxes. So using that money is critical, and if people let it sit, they are fooling themselves if they think that the state can never take that away from them. Because it's going to happen. Because there's been a push. And I've talked to those senators and representatives that are from Philadelphia and Harrisburg, and they want that money in Harrisburg. Their bitch is, you guys are sitting on a big landfall of money up there and you're not using it, you don't need it, let's take it back to Harrisburg where we need it. So you're absolutely right. It's going to be a problem.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I just wondered if you got a chance to look over the estimate that I gave at the last meeting, and in consideration towards helping us fund the PowerPoint presentation to elementary grade students at a cost of about $6,000.
I have not had a chance to look at it. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
A motion is second, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.